Opposition leaders under the platform of the Nigerian National Coalition Group have adopted the All Democratic Alliance (ADA) and applied to the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to register it as a party ahead of the 2027 election. The application letter of the coalition dated June 19, 2025 and addressed to the INEC chairman as obtained by pressmen over the weekend was co-signed by the national chairman of ADA, Chief Akeem Akintayo, and the pro-team national secretary, Abdullahi Musa Elayo.
The coalition movement is allegedly being formed by a collection of opposition leaders drawn from the People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party, as well as disgruntled members of the All Progressives Congress, with names like El Rufai and David Mark allegedly being thrown around as those behind its formation. Joining us to react to this development with a focus on whether this new coalition poses a threat to the APC is a chieftain of the APC, Honorable Akeem Akintayo. Good morning, Honorable Akintayo. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, my sister, and thank you, Nigerians, for having me this morning.
All right, let's get your thoughts on the ADA, the All Democratic Alliance. Have you heard about it? What are your thoughts about it?
You know, when you mentioned
Mr. Akintayo, are you there? Anyway, network connectivity issues there. Hopefully we're able to reconnect and establish a connection with our guests who would be talking about this. Well, don't forget, he is a member of the All Progressives Congress and would like to get his thoughts on the coalition. Are you there? Are you back?
I'm back. I think I was on call. I'm here now.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So when you were trying to talk about the people within the ADA, you were right on point when you said disgruntled APC members, and I don't think it's only disgruntled APC members. I think they are made up of disgruntled politicians who were in the helms of affairs just not long ago. So the aspect of the sincerity of purpose in their quest to form an alternative to APC, I don't think they are actually serious. Because for God's sake, if the Nigerians will question their credibility, look at all the so-called gladiators or the face of the ADA. Most of them have been in power. Are you talking about Atiku Abubakar, who was vice president of this country for 8 good years? You talk about Amici, who was governor for 8 years, minister for almost 8 years. And in fact, the Nigerians should be asking them, what have they rendered to the movement or the growth of Nigeria when they were in power? Let's start from Atiku himself. When he was in government for 8 years, what was his credentials? What was his legacy? And we heard of so many things that he did at the detriment of the country when he was in power, when he was vice president. There are a lot of allegations of him selling national assets to his friends, himself, and his relative. So what are they talking about? What other alternative? In fact, I was even expecting new faces to champion this cause. But you see, when you have people who were either formerly in APC or PDP coming together and want to maybe whitewash Nigerians as progressive or patriots, I don't think they are actually
if I may interject at this point,
Nigerians.
Honorable Akintayo, we want to go on a very short break. We'll come back to continue the conversation. Please stay on board. Welcome back to Breakfast Central. We're still speaking with Honorable Akeem Akintayo, who's an APC chieftain, and we're trying to get his thoughts regarding the All Democratic Alliance, ADA, and what the implications of the ADA might mean. Now, Honorable Akintayo, let's talk about this new development. You were referring to my introduction when I said disgruntled members of the APC were behind this, but we also know that members of the PDP, the Labour Party. I mean, this is what we've gathered right now. But talk to us about the APC's reaction, or how the APC is feeling about this latest development. Does this pose a threat to the APC, or is this maybe just another political experiment?
I think the last word is very, very important. Is the key to the answer you want me to give, which is just another political experiment. Well, for lack of words or being mild, I would say expired politicians, because if you look at their resume as leaders and key stakeholders in the Nigerian project for the past maybe 25 years, most of them have never had any value. Now, coming to APC, I don't think APC
Well, it seems that we have a very difficult challenge here having this interview with our guest due to network connectivity issues. We really hope that this could be fixed from your end so that we can continue this conversation. But if you can hear us, please, let's give it another try. Go ahead with your response.
Yeah, right now. I'm with you right now. So
yes, go ahead. You were talking about the APC stand, or stance rather.
Go ahead, are you there? Okay, seems like we might have to move on. It's quite difficult having this conversation, but it's one that we should have, especially with the formation of the opposition coalition party, which was indeed formed just this weekend. We would love to get reactions from the current All Progressives Congress, which is the current ruling party, to know if there's any form of suspense or any worries, if at all. But like we rightly said, these are conversations we look forward to have. In the meantime, hopefully we can get our guests to join, maybe not now, some other time, or better still, we can get another APC chieftain to also join us and speak on what they think about the coalition. Will it stand the test of time? Is this another experiment? Or will it be one that will shake the polity and get everyone ready?
I think more importantly is who is behind this coalition. Are we certain? Because a number of names are being flown around, but we're not quite sure who are behind the coalition. So let's see if we can reconnect once again with Honorable Akeem Akintayo, who has been joining us to talk about the latest regarding the coalition. Honorable Akintayo, are you here? All right. Let's hope that the network allows us to have a conversation this time. Please go ahead. You were speaking about, I had asked you if this is a threat to the APC or if it's a political experiment, and you were speaking about the APC. I think you can pick up from there.
I think, like I was trying to tell you, from the APC angle, I think we are not perturbed. You can see the kind of confidence building that our party members are reposing on the president, on the government at the center. You can see even the migration of political heavyweights from the grassroots to the state level to the APC. So if APC is a bit perturbed, I think it can be the other way around. But as for the APC, I think we have just focused on delivering dividend of democracy to Nigeria. That's what Nigerians voted us for 4 years. And I think Mr. President, that I know, is someone that is not new to the game. He has been in the murky water of politics for many years. He has been the governor, and even you can see even in 2003 there were attempts to even defeat him in 2003 rather. So, and it didn't work, and then the system was not as robust as it is right now. So, Mr. President and the APC as a party, I think we are very, very ready for the AD and the alliances. Like I said, most of them have nothing to offer. They have been there before. some of them left Nigeria worse than what we met in 2015, and the courage to take some bold economic decision that this government has made. And if you're hardship, like some of them will say they are hungry, they are not hungry to help Nigerians, they are hungry for themselves. And the Nigerians are not going to be gullible this time around. They know those who really want to work for them, and they know those who are just there hungry for power, to grab power, to enrich themselves and their family. This president that we have is a very focused person. He has even all the policy that he promised during the campaign is what he's implementing, and even some of them also copied from his manifesto. Like, for example, the removal of subsidy and the floating of the naira. All these were part of the campaign promises of Mr. President. And of course, the rejigging of the security architecture and what have you. Of course, you talked about the reform in the educational sector. All these are what Mr. President is implementing. So I don't know what else that the opposition wants to implement that is different for what Mr. President is implementing to make Nigeria better. Look at the economy. The economics is rebounding. Yes, we know there were inflation, because you can see inflation has dropped from almost 37.5% to about 22% of recent in the last 2 years. These are indicators that the economy is on the right track. And of course, you talk about if you want to talk about the floating of naira, you can see from 2,000 naira we are almost at 1,500, which is the natural figure of naira to dollar. Because we cannot continue to pretend. For God's sake, these people were in government, they didn't have the courage to remove subsidy. They were part of the people that took part in the subsidy scam for almost 30 years.
But they would, Mr. Akintayo, correct me to butt in. Mr. Akintayo, I'm sorry to cut in, but they would disagree with that statement you just made. And I'm wondering if you know why they would disagree with that. A cross-section, not just of the opposition political parties, but a cross-section of Nigerians will disagree with that statement you made. The reason is because if you track back to when the former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, was going to remove subsidy, it's the same members of this current political party that stood firm and said he will not do so. And this led to what, of course, I believe you know the title and the name, which gathered a lot of protests from different parts of the country. And it begs to worry that currently the same subsidy that was stopped back then is being attributed to be the biggest achievement of the current administration. So what has really changed? And are you going to use that as a yardstick to say that this is the antecedents that has been really met by the current administration? But anyway, it's just a thought for you to actually look into. And secondly, you might also want to react to the fact that the ADA is saying that only a coalition can change things in Nigeria by kicking the APC out. You might want to react to my summations.
Well, let me react to the last part when you talked about coalition would be only coalition. For me, what they are forming is just a charade. It's not really a coalition. If you check back memory lane, just of recent in 2013 when APC was vetted, it was actually a sincere drive to form a coalition. You were a coalition of like minds, a coalition from different parties. But this one we're having right now is just, for me, a coalition of hungry politicians looking for power. I don't think they are like the version we had in 2013, where political party collapsed their structure into one. For God's sake, even if you look at the effort they try to make to form coalition. They tried going to SDP. They didn't succeed. The SDP chased them out. They tried to snatch SDP from the current management. They resisted them. They went into ADC. ADC also resisted them. Now they say they want to form their own party. For God's sake, it's not a coalition. It's just an alliance of self-centered politicians, if I may put it that way, because it is what it is. Because for God's sake, if someone like, permit me to mention what, somebody like El-Rufai had gotten his appointment as a minister, will he be talking about coalition today? Are you talking of even Atiku Abubakar, His Excellency? If he had won the election in 2023, would he be talking of coalition today? Or you talk about Amechi that almost collapsed the APC with his manoeuvring, but God was greater than him. If he had won the ticket of APC in 2022 in the presidential primary, will he be talking of coalition today? For God's sake, I don't think there is anything like coalition. It's just a coming together of, like I said, people who either are falling out from the power that be, or they are disenchanted because their interest was not protected. It's not about Nigeria. If it's about Nigeria, they will reform their previous party. They will stay in their previous party to, entrench the ideology that they think is lacking. They will fight within, like some of us do. For example, I have never thought of going to any political parties in 2013. Some of us joined as a foundation member. Not that the APC is perfect. We have our differences, but we want to stay in APC and reform and make a better party and a better Nigeria. So the issue of coalition to save Nigeria or to give a better alternative to APC, I don't think is actually a sincere thought from the masterminds of the ADA or the coalition. Now, going back to your the question about removal of subsidy. Well, I, for one, I have been a champion of a removal of subsidy because I feel it's an avenue that have been draining this country economically. And if we have to get this country moving, we must restructure the foundation of our economy, which is our import and exports, balance of trade. And if you look at it very well, we even import more refined product than we even export crude oil. And if you look at it very well, most of our revenue from crude were actually being moved to importation of PMS. I've been an advocate of removal of subsidy. And I can tell you for sure that Nigeria is better off without subsidy. And if you talk about 2012, when some of our key leaders were campaigning against the removal of subsidy, well, at that time, the government of the day was seen as, to say, a bit not sincere, because there were a lot of examples of scam that was committed by that same people around that government who were enjoying loot of from the first subsidy regime. So at that point, our leaders felt, look, it's better you reform the people around you, reform the cartel around the government of that day, than just go ahead and remove subsidy that will have better repercussion on the people. And if you look at it that time, there was no plan to revive any other private refinery or public refinery. For here, they were planned by the Adon government, which is the immediate past government, to at least put the refinery into shape.
All right, Honorable Akintayo, we have to wrap up the conversation now, but thank you so much for your time with us. We clearly are not sure who are behind this coalition. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, we hear, has distanced himself from this coalition. His Excellency Peter Obi hasn't spoken about it yet. So I'm guessing in the next few days we would get to find out who the real persons behind this coalition are. But thank you so much for joining us this morning. You have a wonderful day.